think we are live now.
Okay.
um, yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's lovely to have you with us for this follow-up session. We're here with Claudia and Zeny again, and today is really about continuing the conversation with both of them and with all of you. In the last event, both sessions sparked a lot of energy, especially around using creativity to build stronger lessons. And many teachers said they wanted more time to ask questions and share their experiences and hear a few extra practical ideas. So that is exactly what we will do today. Um, Claudia and Zeni, it's great to see you again. And before we jump into questions, I'd love to hear what's been on your mind since the last session. Have you had maybe any interesting conversations with teachers or any new thoughts about the activities you shared?
Probably I thought about how I could have addressed maybe the adults or the teachers who teach adults, because a lot of the ideas that I shared seem to work with kids, but in my opinion, they can work with anyone. So maybe an emphasis on that. That's what came to mind for me.
Oh, although I did think that they do work for adults.
Mm.
I'm an adult and I was
Yeah.
really enjoying them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and sometimes, adults turn into children when
Yeah.
they're in a classroom setting. I don't know if
Yeah.
you agree with that, but
Oh,
yeah.
yes, I do, especially
Mm,
freshmen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Zinni,
Yeah,
did you have
but
any maybe thoughts about the session?
yeah, in some cases with other teachers in discussion, I was told it would be very inspiring if I could share the classroom practices, like the short videos and some photos, but it was a bit complicated. The
Mm.
consent issue was a bit complicated, so I just missed that part. I, I hope I don't know in the future or sometime I don't know how to share it. That's what I missed. And one activity I would love to share by the end of the session. That because of time, I cut it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we will get some time today to maybe see that activity.
Yeah.
Um, um, Claudia, maybe one thing many teachers mentioned is how helpful it was to break a story into simple stages.
Mm.
Maybe you can talk us through one maybe small technique that teachers can use to help learners maybe connect more deeply with a story, either before, during, or after.
After.
And you talked also about adapting this to maybe another audience, adults, for
Yeah.
example. So how that could happen.
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of connecting it to their real lives, I think you can do it at each stage of the lesson. I think you don't have to. You can try to ask the students if whatever's happened in the story has happened to them before, or if they've ever read the story like that in their own language, because I think a lot of the stories have similar lessons. They may be told in a different way, but they have similar lessons. So when you are kind of activating their prior knowledge, you can kind of have a discussion on whether they are familiar with the concepts and the lessons in the story. And then post story, you can pick specific activities that help students kind of deal with the question. For example, with the greedy hippo, the story that I said, or I demonstrated, you just had this person who was very greedy, kind of almost like a bully, and he was taught a lesson. And so you can explore with the students that situation. Have you ever had someone in your life, a friend or a family member, who is very greedy? Can you picture someone in your real life who's like that? Or were you ever really greedy, and did you ever do something bad and somebody taught you a lesson? So in that way you can kind of take the lesson from the story and see how we can apply it to our lives. How does it connect in that way? And the second question, sorry, I forgot what the second question was. I got a bit lost. um
I
mm,
think it was about how you adapted for
Oh,
not young learners, for more of
yeah,
adult
for
learners?
adult learners. Yeah,
Or yeah.
I think when it comes to adult learners, or so this is the issue I have in Korea with almost all of my learners from the sixth grade up until, first year university students. Every time I bring in an idea that they're not used to, everybody always has their backs up against the wall and they're like, oh, I'm not sure about this. So what I would say is make them trust you and make them believe in your idea and teach them and show them really slowly. So what I would do in the case of adults, I would probably start with just maybe a small role play that they tell each other in pairs first, and then over a few sets of weeks I would increase it. Maybe we start off with just telling a story in pairs, and then telling a story in threes, and then I just increase the group until we are able to all share a story together. So I would start off slowly and frequently. I think those are the things that really help. Is if you do it and it becomes your classroom norm, the students won't feel that it's weird or childish anymore. They will actually accept it and they'll be used to it. And also, if you explain to them that there's so many benefits in kind of using stories, it teaches you so much about communication, about how to present very well. All the techniques I use in storytelling, I can also use it in a business pitch, or I can also use it in a very formal situation, connecting with the audience, picking out the words. So if you explain the why and you take the time, I think you'll get there eventually. Um, and they'll believe in you. They'll believe in you. It's happened to me, and I know it can happen for you too.
Oh, these are wonderful ideas. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank
Um,
you.
and for our audience, if you have any questions for Claudia and
Yes.
Zeny, please leave them in the chat, or you can share with us your experience, whether it's an idea or more of a technique that you use to tap into the creativity of your learners in the classroom. Um, I'll move to Zinni now. Um, uh, Zinni, a lot of people appreciated your ideas on using the arts to explore real world topics. Can you share one activity that works well when teachers maybe want to make a climate or environmental theme more engaging, especially maybe with mixed
I
ability
can't
groups
hear
or
you.
a range of age groups?
Or she couldn't hear.
Oh, Zinni, can you hear me? I think the
Yes. Yeah, I'm struggling to hear you. Um,
I can repeat the question. Can you hear me now?
yeah, can you please?
Yeah. Yeah, I was asking about you shared ideas, really great ideas on using arts to explore real world topics like environmental theme topics, and how to make them more engaging. Can you maybe share one activity that
Yeah.
works well when teachers want to make these topics engaging? And maybe how can they work with mixed ability classrooms?
Mhm. Thank you. Can you hear me? Give me a
Yes.
sign.
Yeah.
Okay, good. One of the activities that really worked for my classroom, even for teachers or both for students, is giving different topics for different groups. Which was like, for example, in the class, there might be, I don't know, the number, depending on the number of students, you might have 5 or 6 groups in the class. So what you do is you give one topic, one climate topic for different climate topic for each group. It can be deforestation, and the other one can be parties, green parties, or the other one can be like a flood. Yeah, so at the same time, while they are dealing on that topic, I gave them out different forms of arts For example, for one group, I gave like song and dance, and another group can be visual art. So their topic is going to be represented with the art form they are given. If it is song, they are going to sing deforestation. If deforestation group gets song, they will sing deforestation. So they make the song, they take the old rhymes or melodies and make it a new song by putting new lyrics into it. So what happens is it's such an engaging activity. Um, at the same time, and there is a performance with it. I know it's a bit demands time, but if you give it 2 periods, if you start it in one and you can finish it in the next, or depending on the level of the students, they can finish it in 1 day session. So during this one, it needs to be intentionally mixed, especially ability when it comes to different learning abilities. I think it's expected the teacher to mix the group with different abilities, and also different age group. Actually, in one class we have different, the same age group, but they can mix it with a group. One group can perform for the other group, and they can give feedback before they go for the whole class or for the school performance. And this is one of the activities that worked so well. And the children were very, especially the higher level students, were very much interested to perform their own work. They feel that they own it, so they love to perform it. So I really encourage teachers to give, depending on the level of the students, give different topic, environmental topic, and then different art forms, and give them some time to prepare. Teacher facilitates and supports, and then let them perform it for the class, for the group, for the class, and for the school. This is one of the ways that worked very well.
Oh, wonderful. I'm noticing a nice link between both of your approaches, and there's something powerful about combining imagination with
Yeah.
clear language goals, whether it's acting out or building a rhythm with a song, or maybe using movements to show understanding. So feel free to jump in and respond to each other as we go. And let's pick some of the comments from our audience.
Sure.
Um, uh, we have lots of comments coming in. So I picked on this comment from Ong. I'm
Mm.
not sure if I've read it right. How can I adapt culture-specific lessons to fit the settings in lessons planning? And I think here maybe we can talk about insider, outsider. Claudia, you're teaching in South Korea, for
South Korea.
example,
Yeah.
and yeah, Zeny, you're in your local context in Ethiopia. So how do you adapt that culture-specific lessons, whether inside or outside the
Well, for
specific
me,
culture
it
you're
was
teaching in?
easy. It's easier because when I first came to Korea, I thought all Koreans loved English because I was like, why not? Because in Europe, my cousins in Belgium, in France, they always seem to be fascinated by English. So I thought, oh, it's an easy job. I'll go there. They'll absolutely love me. And then I arrived, to my shock. They hated English and they didn't understand why they had to study it because they couldn't connect with it. They listen to only Korean music, only watch Korean shows. The little English they have is to watch maybe Marvel movies. That's at the time when I first came, that's what my students would connect to. And so I quickly found that I had to make English meaningful to them, and the only way to make that meaningful is to connect with their culture. So wherever I can, I always bring in an element of Korean culture. So if I'm telling a story, I would change the name of the character to a name that they're more familiar with. So for example, the greedy hippo, we can give him a name that is more Korean than just hippo. Maybe we can use the word hippo in Korean, or we can just, choose another name. And as soon as you do that, even just that small change of naming the character in their own language, they light up. Or instead of the story being set maybe in Africa, I could set it somewhere in Korea. Now, I don't think that we should always just stick with the students' culture and what they're familiar with. I think it's also good to expose them to other cultures, but wherever you can, every now and then, I think it is good to put English, so you kind of almost talk about the things that they're familiar with, but in English, to just make them see that English is something that we use to do other activities in. It's not something that we just do for tests, but we can sing in English, like Zeny, how you were saying, you can sing, or you can create art in English, or we can do a play in English. And it's not just watching movies or getting good grades. It's a lifestyle. It's connected to your hobbies, it's connected to traveling and meeting other people. So I would say make small changes at first, in the text, or in the location of where the settings are, if you're doing a role play. And maybe also I would incorporate, for something to make my students feel a lot calmer, I would sometimes play Korean music even though we're studying English, because I wanted them to feel relaxed and focused. And it really worked. Whenever I did that, especially for my elementary students, they were so happy. They did their work. It was like a bargaining chip. I'll do something in your culture if you'll accept to do something in mine. And create, I think also it's important to create kind of classroom atmosphere or environment where you celebrate differences. So you celebrate their culture as well as another culture, as well as your culture. So you constantly introduce these different ideas to your students. And that for me really really helped. And it also just, they learn so many things along, and they will teach you. My students, actually, I don't know about you, Zenny, but my students teach me so many things all the time. Like, they were my Korean teachers, they were also my culture teachers. If I did something, they would say, no, 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 teacher, no, in Korea, no, in Korea, like this. And I really appreciated that. I was as much of a learner as they were in the classroom.
Yeah.
What about you, Jenny? What would you say? How
Yeah,
do you approach Korean?
it's very similar, but a bit different because it's in the country. This one,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
culture in Ethiopia, though it's so many cultures and
yeah,
languages we have.
yeah.
But what's interesting, what I have noticed when we learn English, as you said, it's not that they don't like English. They really want to speak, try it out, but
Mm,
the stating doesn't allow. It's a second language. English
yeah.
is not a second language. It's a foreign language. When you go to
Mm,
the market, nobody talks to you in English.
yeah,
uh,
exactly.
Nobody talks to you on the street. When you go back home, nobody.
Yeah.
The TV is not in English. So what happens is the children, they know that when they join university, what matters is the power of their language. So they
Mm,
want it, but they don't have anywhere to practice it.
mm,
And the other thing that I have noticed is during when they sing locally, when they play with local games and local
mm,
songs, they just come to life. Whenever you ask them to sing the game they play outside in the classroom
mm.
and the song they play in the neighborhood, they just life a dead
Yeah,
person is
yeah,
coming back to life
yeah.
immediately. Everybody was on the street. I was like, oh, why not we use this for teaching English? Why not we
Mm,
use it for climate issues? We want the climate to be addressed globally, everywhere. We want everybody to take action. So the
mm,
best way, and then I planned the culture. What are the main cultural games and songs
mm,
and
mm,
role plays and visual arts that we have in Ethiopia, especially those that are embedded in the topic in the textbook in
Yeah.
the curriculum. And the new curriculum, luckily, is encouraging the local knowledge to
Okay.
come to
To
classroom,
life.
which
Yeah.
I really like. And they have climate topics, especially English lessons across from primary to secondary. There are so many issues that are related to climate. So what I did was, okay, now we take that topic. Every time we deal with with those topic, actually you can pick any topic and relate it. I believe that is my
Mm.
belief. Like you can add day because it's our daily life. It's
Yeah.
highly related with our daily life, so you can relate it somehow. But especially those topics, I take that, and then after we finish what the textbooks gives us, you can, or at times you embed it, you bring those cultural art forms. It can be like a childhood a song, a folk song that they play, a game they play
Mm.
outside, and you bring them first using their mother tongue. We
Mm.
always encourage they use their mother tongue to change the song into climate song. Now
Mm.
they take it home with their mother tongue and they make their siblings sing and or
Mm.
say those games or play those role plays, dramas, or there are so many cultural activities that they do. And then, first of all, what I like about it is with their mother tongue, they take it home because it's a
Yeah.
climate agenda. We want that issue to be addressed to the community, to the family, which is lovely and great by itself. And the next one is we do translation. We make it like, we can do that in English and we can sing it
Yeah.
in English. We take English song, folk songs, and we do the same thing. So uh, you just see what is happening in the culture, what is the children singing, playing
Mm.
games, the visual arts. When it comes to weaving, especially in Ethiopia, all children are really good at it. They love it, especially in the southern part. When we ask them, like you said, Claudia, they were teaching
Mm.
us like
Yeah.
the best ways weaving it. So we can learn, and at the same time, we can embed the English and
Yeah.
climate. It's English and climate issues into
Yeah.
the culture.
I think also I would add
But
it
we need
has to
to
be
fight.
I would say it has to be enjoyable. I think that's the biggest lesson I learned in Korea was that the students never had fun because year after year they were just told you've got to reach this grade, you've got to learn these words, and sometimes the
Yeah.
words had nothing to do with even their age group. It was these words that maybe adults would use. And so I really focused on my students laughing and having fun with English because then that builds their interest and curiosity because they actually when you enjoy something you want to do more of it, but if you don't
Yes.
enjoy something it's really hard to want to do anything with it, especially outside of the classroom. So I love the
Mm,
idea of taking the song home and teaching
mm,
it.
Yeah, actually, what is interesting about the art, one, it's inclusive. The arts are very inclusive, especially the
Mm,
hearing impairment children
yeah.
are highly involved in the visual art,
Mm,
and the visual impairment students with visual impairment are highly involved in the singing and writing
mm,
poetry amazingly. So what it is, it gives you more opportunity to include your class, to include
yeah.
different abilities. So I really like it. One thing, fun. They don't know they're learning. Even I was like,
Yes,
wow,
yes.
this is amazing. This is really beautiful to see the classroom moving around, everybody here,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they don't know they are learning. And the second thing is it is inclusive. It
Yeah.
brings everybody on board, and I like that.
mm.
Mm.
Oh, that's a beautiful exchange between you, Claudia and
Yeah.
Zeny. So I didn't want to intervene,
No.
but these are wonderful ideas, and it
Yeah.
shows also how sometimes using local culture or local languages can empower learners, but at the same time we can use English to bridge to other as a bridge to other cultures and other world knowledges.
Yeah.
Yeah, and communicating that through language is not just being inclusive to one on the coast of the other, but more of bringing that bridge and those topics to the students in a way that is engaging to them and that makes them want to talk about these topics as well in the class. Um, I just wanted to ask our audience, in one or two words, maybe, how do your learners normally respond to creative tasks? Are they
Mm.
curious? Are they shy? Excited? So share your experience if you like. And going to this question, which I asked the audience, I also wanted to ask you, Claudia and Zeny, do you have any shy students who maybe shy away from engaging in those activities, and how do you overcome this challenge? And often as teachers, sometimes we focus on maybe more articulate students, so we forget the more shy students. So in your experience, how do you deal with this?
First,
Zeny, do you want to go? I have some ideas.
uh, yes. Uh, Last time too, I was trying to the whole group, even and the audience, were trying to give us so many interesting tips. But usually in the classroom, it is true we have shy students in every
Mm.
classroom. I believe that's very common. So what we do is, first of all, we give them choice, especially the character they want to choose. We should not impose it. I think they need to be comfortable. And
Yeah.
second, we can begin with group performance.
Mm.
And when everybody participates, when they choose, it's much easier. And they choose the person they want to perform with, and they choose the character they want to perform. Uh, that way, where I have seen a remarkable change. But when you give them time, for more time for preparation, I have seen a remarkable change too. And the other one is, when we start the performance, we can start the performance from table. That helped a lot.
Mm.
Like, just perform for this table, for one group, four of them or five of them,
Yeah.
or six, seven of them, only there in the table. And the second one, sometimes two groups mix it, depending on the confidence that is building on
Yeah.
in the learners. And you see, and you can arrange, you can change your plan, and two groups together, or three groups, then classroom, and it can go to the school level. But it's I always suggest that it's good to listen to them and give
Yeah.
them a chance to choose. Yeah.
Yeah. You've said basically everything I I would have said. So I had an extremely shy student who was really impacted by COVID, wearing the mask and germs. And so when we came back to face classes, she didn't adapt well. She went into her shell a lot more. And it was made worse because she was moved into a class with much older students. And in Korea, age is such a big issue that even if you're 1 year younger than your classmates, the way you behave is so much more restricted. So here she is with, all the other students are older than her. She's the youngest. And now she's very shy. She won't even take off her mask. So you can't, even if she speaks, you can't even hear her words. And I know her. I've taught her for years, and I know that she's very bright, very good at English. But suddenly she's kind of having these issues. And so, with the help of my colleagues, we came up with the idea of having a box in the class, which is a suggestion box. So instead of making her have kind of pushing her to do these performances, I would always offer to her, just like you, I would always give her choices and different roles so she can pick what she's comfortable with. But I also gave a box where she can also suggest. So she might not be able to say what she feels out loud, but she might write it. And I made sure that she always, not every single time, because I also wanted to push her, but I also made sure that she sat next to somebody who made her feel comfortable, who she could speak with even just one sentence. And I set realistic goals for her. Like I wouldn't expect for her to stand up and be the loudest. But if within that lesson, for example, we're doing a role play and we need to sing, and she sang a little bit, then I would be like, "You did so well. I could hear you." And I would spend some one-on-one time with her. So with her, we just went much slower, and we set goals that she could actually achieve, and then we celebrated those goals. And I noticed also that maybe in speaking she didn't shine because she was really, really shy. But in other areas like writing, she did. In drawing, she did. So every time she did those things that she's strong at, I would celebrate it so much. I would make a point to be like, wow, you did amazing. And I love it. And, so it was difficult. But I think, just like you said, with students who have any kind of special needs or students who are struggling in any way, I think taking the time, building the rapport, making them feel like they can trust you as well, and including them. I think sometimes it can be easy to just be like, oh, they're shy, just put them to the side. But every time I offer the choice, I always used to give four choices. So, for example, if we're doing a play, you have the choice to be the narrator, or to do a speaking part, or you can be the wind. You can be in the background making the wind sound, but you're
Yeah.
still participating in the class project. So for me, that's how I dealt with it. And that was an elementary student. With my adult student, I think I do the same thing. I give choices. With each assignment, I always give at least two choices. So even if we're doing a presentation, I offer either a booth presentation, which is everybody's simultaneously presenting at the same time, and I kind of rotate around. So it makes it there's less pressure that way than standing in front of the class, in front of everybody. So I love the ideas, and I feel like we're the same teacher. when we've got
Yeah,
so many
you
things to
reminded me. You
rotate.
reminded me this student who used to
Yeah.
come and whisper to my ears, like
Yeah.
not speaking loud, just whisper.
Yeah.
And, forget performing in front of the class, just to
Mhm.
talk. So when we try some of the performances, the art forms, um, he knows that he can do. He likes to perform it, like
Mm, mm,
acting
mm.
out, but
Mm, mm.
he doesn't want to do it in the class. So what happened
Yeah.
was, I took him out. We were outside the classroom, and
Yeah.
he said, "Let me show you. Let's go outside
Oh.
and let me show
Mm.
you." Okay, we went out, and he showed me. Oh
Yeah.
my God, he's so good. He's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
So it was really, really interesting that to see him on the stage and
Mm.
perform, and step by step. It's just not only me, for his group outside again. He performed, and then another teacher, and then finally we happened to be. He was able to perform in the classroom, and the
Mm.
other teacher in another classroom. She was this autistic child.
Mm.
He while he She was doing this drama about trees, and he never spoke. He's not
Mm. Mm.
interested. He was always avoiding. So she when she was explaining, he was listening. He was down there and he was listening. And the moment he said, "Anybody who wants to be a tree," and then he just jumped, and he turned to be the most beautiful tree, like with the heavy wind moving it, sometimes a gentle wind moving it. It was so. She showed us the video, and it was so good. It was so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it depends on the context.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need
It
to be.
does.
Thank you very much. I there's a question, just maybe the last question
Mhm.
before we wrap up, from Muhammad, who says he's Sudanese but based in Ethiopia, and he noticed. I think the question is for Zeny. He noticed how Ethiopians are very good at writing, but they barely speak, which is different than the Sudanese context. And there was another question on whether translation is that bridge, whether we can bridge. We talked about bridging languages, whether translation could be a way to do it. Um,
Mm.
we can address those two questions, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. The first question was speaking and writing, right? Ethiopians are good in speaking,
Yeah, the
but
difference
not
between Sudan and
Yeah.
Ethiopia.
good in writing, not in speaking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that is the one of the challenges of the education in Ethiopia. The classroom doesn't have much time for like 70, 90 students to practice speaking in the classroom. So as a solution, that's why we wanted English climate with arts. When you
Mm.
teach English, one of the good ways to practice speaking is singing. You don't, when they sing, English, especially, I will come later about the cultural and the translation. But when they sing, it is the whole class and
Yeah.
everybody, especially in primary or secondary. I think uh, every child is interested in song. Most of the children, I can say from my
Mm.
experience, singing brings them back to life. So when you, instead of making practice 70 children one by one speaking, when you give them a chance to sing a song in English or in the targeted language, that is one of the ways that I have experienced it to make the classroom practice their English at least.
Mm.
They learn the song, they listen it, wanting it has an element of listening and an element of speaking. That's the beauty of songs. And it's relaxing at the same time without stress and anxiety, not to make a mistake. They just
Mm.
practice. So that helps a lot, as I have seen it. I know, yes, speaking practicing time, we didn't have. When I learned, there wasn't a speaking practicing time. And still, it's going on. It's the same. So that's why when it comes to speaking, we have a challenge.
Yeah.
But writing, somehow, if you love reading, I think it makes it much easier to write. And what happens is there are good stories in the books, and also they copying. There is copying from board. There's always something written on the board, so the
Mm.
children copy that. So maybe that helps for writing. But
Mm.
in my experience, I prefer. The children practice it properly, like
Yeah.
they know the language, the target language very well. I mean, the
Funnily
skill
enough.
is more
Mm.
important. I mean, you need to practice. It's a skill. A skill
Yeah.
needs practice. You
Practice.
can't
Yeah.
just copy from a blackboard. Skill is not
Yeah.
copied from a board. We need to work on it. We
Mm.
need to practice it. That's what I believe.
It's the same in Korea too. Middle school and high school, like all of secondary school, they focus more on writing and reading. So by the time they come to me, because I teach both elementary students and university students, so by the time they come to me in their first year of university, they've spent almost 5 years not really speaking, and so speaking is so far behind compared to reading and writing, and they struggle a lot with that. And so I almost go back to the beginning, and just like you, Zeny, I also sing. I make them sing even though they're adults, and many times they're very uncomfortable. But I think it does come
Yeah.
down, if you have an unbelieving crowd, you have to make them believers. So I start with simple songs, and usually low stakes, so then you don't have to sing beautifully in my class. In fact, I model singing very badly and I say, that's what I want you to sing badly, because I just want you to sing. And so we sing, we rap, we sing nursery songs. I just do different things, and they get used to it, and
Nice.
they enjoy it now, you know. And then I also sometimes allow them to bring in a song that and teach us what they like and things like that. But I think, yeah, creating that environment where you involve a lot of singing. I involve also a lot of role playing, which a lot of students were like, what? You want us to not only role play in our chair, but you want me to stand up and show this? But I'm shy, teacher. And I said, it's okay. Everybody's in the same place. You go up there and you do it. And I've been doing like mini 30-second role plays every single lesson so that they get used to being in front of the class. They get used to being silly, because I said to them at the beginning, I want you to get over the embarrassment of speaking English out loud. Because I
Mm.
don't know about your students, but I think that's the biggest fear my students have is, what if I make a mistake and everybody hears
Yes,
me and I'm in front? So I want
yes,
to quickly get over that by giving them different challenges, where they have to stand in front and they have to do something. So things like singing or role playing. Sometimes I
yeah.
also ask them to be the teacher so they can do like a vocal warm up. So they've got to go in front, and I make it purposely embarrassing where they have to go "Brr, brr," and then they have to go
Yeah,
licking
that's
the
me.
mouth and and they hate it, but they have to do it because I said so. And slowly they get used to the fact that it's, well, it was silly at the beginning. Now they're more comfortable with it. We could go on forever. I love you, Zeny. You're so fun.
It's lovely. Yeah, it's really good.
Yes. Yeah, but unfortunately, we're running out of time.
Yeah,
And we've
yeah.
touched on some really lovely points today in bringing stories to life, using voice, movement, confidence, even sometimes with just limited resources. Thank you, Claudia and Zeni, for sharing your time and ideas
Lovely.
again. And thank you to everyone for watching and for your questions and enthusiasm. And we hope today gave you a bit more confidence and inspiration for your lessons this week. Take care, and we'll see you at our next session. And if you'd like to get a recap of Claudia's and Zeni's session, you can see the link of their previous sessions in the chat. Well, thank you very
Mm.
much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye
Thank you
bye.
very much.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.